What's interesting here and important to note, and this is where your tinfoil hats are going to come on, is that there is actually a company out there, and I believe I mentioned this to you yesterday. There's a company out there that's monitoring most streams on Twitch, and they have the ability to issue live DMCAs. They just haven't done it yet, and so it's super important to note that that level of enforcement hasn't even come through yet. Where you're live and you're getting taken down live for playing music.
Licensed in-game music work for DMCA.
Here we go.
The artist or label that licensed the music to the game, licensed the music to the game, to the publisher, developer of the game, which means that they did not license it to you.
How the fuck did we let these laws go through? Like, the entire idea of licensing and everything is all a construct. And somehow the powers that be have created a system that is harmful to pretty much everyone. Now, I do want to talk a lot about the DMCA issue and what's been going on with that. Now, until it gets sorted out, we're pretty much just going to be listening to video game soundtracks and shit like that until I figure out what's really going on. So what I've opted into doing, so there are basically two options for me to do. Option number one is don't play any copyrighted music, and just, that's it. And have my VODs. And then the option number two is play copyrighted music and delete all VODs and clips. And I thought that it was better for the channel in general if I focused entirely on making sure that I think people want number one, right? Is that it's clear to me that this problem is something that Twitch is going to have to address. This is something Twitch needs to talk about and something Twitch needs to deal with. If it's not today, it has to be tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it's going to have to be the next day. If they put it off for a month, then they're going to have to deal with it in a month. If they put it off for a year, then it's going to be an even bigger issue then. Twitch needs to deal with this, and they need to side with their partners. The fact is that a lot of the streams and a lot of the music that people are listening to does not replace the audio. People are not using the streams in order as a replacement for listening to the music. Nobody goes, hey, you know what? I want to go and listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers, but you know what? Instead of actually buying the album and listening to it on YouTube or Spotify or buying a CD, I want to listen to this bald weirdo on Twitch complain about WoW while at the same time Californication is playing. Nobody fucking says that. Nobody does that. So it's not like the music industry is losing any album sales because of this. Nobody is doing that, okay? So here's basically what the problem is that these people that are making the decisions, you know, the fucking what do you call them? Illuminati. The Illuminati that are making the decisions for this, they don't understand that because a lot of the people that are in the true Illuminati don't know how to use their email. So you have a problem here where you have all the technology that's advancing very, very quickly, and then the people who are actually using the technology are advancing at the exact opposite rate. It's almost like the things that they used to know, they don't know anymore. And copyright trolls and ironically cancer, yes, I think it's a problem. And they're coming for you. You can't be. No, the thing is, like, there have been plenty of cases that have won this. It's just that Twitch doesn't want to take a stand for it because, you know, there's for whatever reason. And I think that this is a ridiculous thing. I think that Twitch needs to work with these companies and figure it out, because if they don't do that, the next step. Here's what the next step is. Okay. Now this isn't going to happen for like maybe 3 or 4 more years, maybe sooner, but it might happen. It might happen sooner, but I think it'll happen in like 3 or 4 years. You're gonna start having game developers, because how many of you guys, let me ask a very good question here. How many of you guys have watched a streamer play a story game, and then after you watched the story game, you didn't buy the game because you already knew the story? So here we are in a situation where it's very clear that people are using video game streams as a replacement, a market replacement for the actual product itself. So for every person that sees the stream and they watch the game and then they're able to just see it that way instead of actually playing it themselves, that person is less likely to purchase the product, thus resulting in a loss of profit from the people that are making the game. So I would consider that to be a much more bigger and harmful thing than what we're talking about here. So what I think the problem here is that these developers and these people are going to realize this, and they're going to try to cut into Twitch as well. They're going to try to sequester out little bits of content and little bits of the world, and try to make sure that people aren't able to play them in the way that they bought the game for. So basically what I'm saying is that this is something that's going to affect everyone. So if you care about content being good on Twitch, every single thing that you see on my screen, I'm going to show you guys something. Every single thing that you guys see on my screen here all has to do and is all copyrighted. World of Warcraft is copyrighted. A lot of the fonts, this is something a lot of people don't know. I know about this because I looked in like making websites and shit. A lot of fonts for games and just like fonts in general are copyrighted as well. You have the fonts that are copyrighted. Then you have the different fan art, like the Long Boy thing that I've made is arguably copyrighted by Blizzard because it's a derivative of their work. So whenever you look at what copyright law is, you're basically looking at turtles all the way down. There's almost everything is copyrighted and owned by somebody else. And what's going to end up happening is you will have, this is what streams are going to be if Blizzard doesn't, or Twitch doesn't do something about this. That's it. And the other option is you're going to have other people that have partnerships with certain game developers and game companies in order to stream their games. And you know what's going to happen then? Then you lose all integrity of creators in order to offer legitimate feedback and criticism, because the developer has the sword of Damocles hanging and over their head by a fucking fishing line. And the second that this person says something wrong, they cut the line. This is what happens. I'll actually, you know what? I won't explain it in metaphors. I'll just explain it in realities. Nintendo. So Nintendo decided to have a revenue sharing platform and a program with people on YouTube. And if you wanted to make content about Nintendo games, you had to follow and abide by a laundry list of rules that Nintendo set, and also on top of that, split part of your revenue that you receive with Nintendo. So what's going to end up happening is, yes, and so Nintendo obviously fucked this up. And Nintendo did not understand what this space is. They didn't understand the dynamics. They didn't understand how it worked. And Nintendo, unlike the music industry, at least not yet, was able to understand and be educated and informed and learn about the new ways that people are consuming content and looking at their products and looking as prospective buyers as of their products as well. So Nintendo got rid of the program. But anyway, so you look at that one. Now let's go ahead and talk about another game, The Last of Us Part 2. Now, for a lot of you guys, you've probably seen this. It's much more contemporary. And so you've seen the way that The Last of Us Part 2 has been, many people who have been critical of the game have had their content DMCA'd or removed because the technical copyright owners of the content have the legal right to do that. That should not be the case. Now, I think that I'm going to be fine with doing react videos. Why is that? Because whenever I react to a video, I turn a 10-minute video into a 43-minute video. I would say that's probably somewhere in there. You could probably find some kind of evidence for a thing that you like to call, transformative content.
A lot of people are asking, I've noticed, hey, I got a friend who's in a band. They distribute their music on Spotify. Can I use Spotify on my stream? And the answer is no. That actually violates Spotify's terms of service. Because Spotify doesn't allow you to use their service to stream music on other platforms. A lot of people.
There you go. So here's what it comes down to. Here's what I think the fundamental difference is between what a lot of these laws are designed to prevent and what I think the actual issue is. The laws are designed to prevent things like this. Let's go ahead and let's just look up a random song here, all right? So they're designed to prevent videos like this from being replaced by, like, let me see, lyrics. So they're designed to prevent them from being replaced by things like this. Because what people end up doing and just watching this video instead of buying Taylor Swift's album. Because these videos serve as a market replacement for the album and for the music. The difference, I think, with Twitch streaming is that the music does not serve as a replacement for purchasing the music and consuming the music.
Some track from AC/DC, then you could get in trouble for that, even if it's really short. Like, it doesn't matter how long it is.
Let's say I'm a streamer. Let's say I want to pursue some of these rights, and I'm a Japanese streamer who actually has an incredibly large Brazilian audience. So does that typically come to play, and would streamers and or organizations or corporations be evaluating that aspect of, like, globally how this all works?
Yeah, so it's important to note that your use of Twitch is subject, obviously, as you brought up earlier, to the Twitch Terms of Service. And the Twitch Terms of Service is important because it's U.S. law. So if you have parties that are on Twitch, they're agreeing to use Twitch's laws.
So it doesn't matter even if you're not in the U.S. You still have to abide by the laws. I feel like people need to stand up and stop this from happening. I think that as more things become digital, you're going to have more and more people that are going to have these different types of greedy corporations and companies abuse these laws in order to cut into their profits unfairly and not by their own right. And I think that people need to stop this from happening before it becomes a bigger issue, because it will become a bigger issue. It's already a very big issue on YouTube, and it's made YouTube worse.
Now, our next story for today is a lot more serious. This comes from Twitch. Now, I'm sure many of you know that many Twitch streamers recently have been complaining. They've been complaining that their Twitch clips and other content on their channels have been getting taken down by DMCA takedowns here because they've used copyright music. And it looks like for some reason, this just started happening over the last few days. And Twitch support tweeted this out yesterday. They said, this week we've seen a sudden influx of DMCA takedown requests for clips with the background music from 2017 to 2019. If you're unsure about rights to audio in past streams, we advise removing those clips. We know many of you have large archives, and we're working to make this easier. This is the first time we receive mass DMCA claims against clips. We understand this has been stressful for affected creators, and we are working on solutions, including examining how we can give you more control over your clips. So it looks like Twitch's guidelines weren't actually changed here, but what happened is that they have now gotten mass DMCA takedown requests from large companies. Now, I'm pretty sure I know who some of these companies are because many streamers have complained about this with their videos getting taken down by them, but I'm not going to accuse any specific company of trying to mass take down streamers' videos.
Yeah, nobody really knows.
Is a lot of streamers are upset over this because now they have to go through thousands of VODs and clips and delete everything with copyrighted content. I mean, this is taking so long for some streamers to actually go through this and do this. Now, the streamer known as Jake and Bake responded here saying, you need to implement the same feature that VODs have where it's muted when copyrighted works are detected into clips. There are individuals that have created bots that can scan and detect copyrighted works and flag them. Why can't Twitch do this? Now,
okay, that's basically how it is. I take a piss. Yeah, a random streamer can come up with a bot that Twitch can't.
Alright, so I'm not sure how many people realize how serious this is, because this could change streaming on Twitch forever. I mean, we all know how easy it is for streamers to accidentally share nudity on their streams, and then they get banned for it, and it's a huge deal. But imagine if a streamer accidentally shared copyrighted content, accidentally shared a song that they didn't mean to share, and then out of nowhere, their entire stream just gets taken down while it's live. I mean, even if they delete the VOD, it still gets taken down because it's being live monitored.
I could talk about this all day. I know you want to move on to the mage thing, but I mean, you know, I don't know. To me, this is a big fucking deal.
Oh, it is. It's a huge deal, and you're right. It is. I just don't think that it matters, though. I mean, like, because the problem is that all of the people that have all of the money at the top are creating rules that are unfair and that are overreaching and unnecessary. And there's no real way to stop that unless you, like what Morrison said is true. Like you have to change the laws, not the fucking TOS. I think that, like, for example, if you're making profit off of something and you making profit off of it is not hurting the people that created the profit, created the item or the thing that you're using to make the profit off of, I don't think that you owe them any money. I don't like this idea of professional licensing, and I feel like doing that is, it's making the whole world a pyramid scheme, because every single thing now you owe part of what you create to the people that you used their stuff to make what you have. And I don't like it, man. That's capitalism, but it's not capitalism. It's capitalism that's being enforced by laws. So fundamentally, that's not capitalism. These rules would not exist in a completely free society. The only reason that they exist is because there are laws that that force people into complying. That's really what it comes down to. The laws exist to help the companies and not the people. Like, these laws do not exist to help the people at all. They don't make the world better. They just secure income and sanction off certain things from being able to be done. Imagine if Blizzard charged artists for drawing their WoW races. Yeah, I feel like people don't understand like how overreaching this is and how impactful it is for every other streamer.
Jesus Christ. What? Dude, there's so many starving fucking artists in your chat that are upset by this. Like, yeah, okay, yes, they like to say like, oh, exposure can't pay my rent, man. I need money for that. Well, how do you get money? People got to be exposed to your shit, right? And you need a lot of exposure to make a lot of money to pay your fucking rent. Because you guys rent fucking lofts in fucking New York.
Well,
they're fucking $8,000 a month, okay?
It's not even about that. It's that I don't think that somebody has a right to your profit just because you're using something that they created. I think that they only have a right to your profit or a right to your income if you're doing that at the expense of their own income or their own profit, or you're hurting their product. I don't think that somebody has entitlement to your money just because you're using something that they had or that they sold you. That's what I don't like. It's a philosophical problem that I have with it. So nobody's going and they're saying, like, this is the same thing I said in MC yesterday, right? Nobody is thinking, oh yeah, I was going to listen to Tool, but instead of listening to Tool, I'm going to watch a guy play WoW and have Tool on in the background, and now I'm not going to buy the CD. Like, people aren't making that decision. People listening to music in a stream does not mean that they're not going to buy the music, and it doesn't replace the sale of the music. So because it doesn't replace the sale of the music, it doesn't impact the profit that the people that are making the music are making, and it doesn't make the it doesn't make the song worse in any sort of a real way, then I don't see why those people have any sort of right to tell you what you can and can't do with it if you've purchased the rights to use it. Again, you cannot broadcast what you do not own. All of those laws are constructs that are created by people. This is not, these laws and everything are not divinely inspired, and these are not edicts from God. This is not dictated by God. These are all things that people get to make their own decisions on. And we as a society, as a country, get to make a decision on how these things are decided and what's fair and what's not fair. And I don't think this is fair. That's really what it comes down to. I don't know like all of the laws and everything about it, but what I do know is that I can pretty much fucking bet the DMCAs and the idea of a DMCA was a law that was probably written primarily by the record companies. Like, this isn't Go ahead.
I think it was written in like 98 or something,
1998.
And then it got updated in 2012. But the way that they're updating this shit is in favor of the corporations, not individual artists or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is in favor of the exactly. It's in favor of the corporations, and it's built to, create to keep them in power, basically. Whiteout petition, 100,000 signatures. They're legally obligated to respond. Yeah, but they could just say no. Like, I mean, I'm not really expecting, Donald Trump to come in and save the fucking day. Musicians can't even stream musicians can't even stream their own music because of their record labels. I mean, like, if that's not a problem to you, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, if that's okay to you, I'm sorry, but I think we just have a different perspective on this. Is there anything that we can really do about it, though? Like, I feel like there's nothing I can do about it.
there are things we could do to force an action to happen, but it's not. I mean, it might not be a good action. I mean, the only other thing we can do is just sit back and wait for Twitch to turn into YouTube, and how shitty YouTube is. Oh boy, I can't wait.
Well, I mean, I think that's basically what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know really what else to say. Microsoft is going to fix a problem. I don't think that they are. Go on strike for Twitch until it fixes it. Listen, if I go on strike, nobody's going to give a fuck, man. Like, let's be honest. Nobody's going to care. It's not going to matter. I'm not going to go on strike. As much as I think that that's going to make a difference, like, if the top 10 streamers went on strike, nothing would change. Nothing would matter at all. It would have to be, like, literally every single person on the platform, and there's no way that you could ever make that happen. It's just not possible.
Like, these corporations have billions of dollars, right? And the only way to get their attention is if you fuck with their money. And if you fuck with their money long enough and big enough, then they're gonna have to do something about it. That's how you get it. Like, you get a bunch of people to fuck with their money, and then they'll have to pay attention to you. Because that's all they care about. They don't care about your rights. They don't care about their rights. I mean,
no, they don't.
Besides protecting them. They don't give a fuck about any of that. They care about money. And if you fuck with their money, they'll pay attention to you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Dude, the law came out before 2000. You know what I mean? Like, it's not updated to the current standards and where society is at right now.
Yep.
And that's like a common theme, right? Like, technology advances way faster than laws and shit.
Yep. I don't even know what to say about it, man. It's so fucking ridiculous. I'm just completely, like, I'm at a loss for words. Let me go over, and I'm not actually for a loss for words, but there are so many words that I want to say, it's hard for me to say all of them. I never really said this on stream. Maybe I did the other day. I forgot if I did. These copyright laws and the way that I feel that they are unethical and unfair was one of the big reasons that motivated me and inspired me to want to go to law school. Because I didn't like the way the rules were, and I wanted to change them. I don't know what I can do, but what I do know is that if other people will stand with me, I will stand up against this. And I will try to make a difference. But I can't do it alone. So if people care about this, I need other people to be up there with me. I have no problem taking the hits and being in the front, but I have to have people behind me as well. I have no problem doing that.